There comes a moment in every woman's life when silence becomes strength, when distance becomes dignity, and when walking away becomes the most powerful thing she can ever do. This isn't about quitting. It's about choosing yourself. It's about remembering that peace is not a luxury. It is a necessity. And sometimes the only way to reclaim it is to step away from the places, the people, the habits, and the versions of yourself that hold you back. Walking away is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is healing. It is the first step toward becoming the woman you were always capable of being. The first truth every woman must understand is that not every battle is hers to fight. There are situations that drain your energy, relationships that take without giving, and environments that suffocate your growth. You can pour your heart into people who don't respect your value, and you can bend until you break trying to prove yourself to those who refuse to see you. But your spirit knows when something is costing you your peace. Your body knows when something is no longer healthy. And life will keep whispering until you finally hear it. You deserve better than what hurts you. Walking away means you finally listen. It means you've chosen your mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being over the comfort of familiarity. It means you're done watering dead plants. You're done shrinking to fit. You're done believing you must endure pain to deserve love. That moment you walk away is the moment you reclaim your power. The second truth is that walking away is often the beginning of transformation. When you leave behind what limits you, you create space for what is meant for you. Doors open when closed ones no longer hold you hostage. Healing begins when chaos no longer occupies your mind. Growth happens when you give yourself permission to evolve without apology. And yes, the process is uncomfortable. Yes, it can feel lonely. Yes, there will be nights where you question if you made the right decision. But the greatest breakthroughs of your life will always be on the other side of the things that scared you. Walking away is not the end, it is the reset. It forces you to meet yourself again. It teaches you your own strength. It shifts your focus from surviving to building. And when a woman starts building herself, her confidence changes, her boundaries changes, her circle changes, her vision sharpens, and her life begins to align with her worth. Every step away from what broke you is a step toward what will build you. The third truth you must carry with you is this: walking away doesn't prove anything, Tom. It proves everything to you. It shows you that you have discipline, self-respect, and emotional maturity. It shows you that you don't need permission to protect yourself. It shows you that you're not afraid to lose anything that requires you to lose yourself. When a woman learns to walk away, she becomes untouchable, not because she's cold, but because she finally understands the weight of her time, her energy, her love, and her presence. She stops chasing, stops begging, stops waiting for closure from people who never cared enough to offer it. She gives that closure to herself. She becomes her own home, her own motivation, her own source of peace. And from that point on, she only entertains what matches her elevation. She only accepts what honors her spirit. She only allows what feeds her growth. That is the real power of walking away. You rise. And when you rise, nothing that once broke you will ever have the power to touch you again. Walking away is not about leaving someone behind. It is about walking toward the life you deserve. It is about reminding yourself that your story doesn't end in pain. It begins again in strength. So wherever you are right now, whatever you're holding on to that hurts, whatever you're afraid to release, understand this. Your future is waiting on the other side of your courage. Trust yourself enough to let go. Believe in yourself enough to take the first step. And love yourself enough to never settle for less than the respect, the peace, and the joy that has always been meant for you. The first truth every woman must understand is that not every battle is hers to fight. You were not put on this earth to exhaust yourself trying to prove your worth, fix broken people, or hold together situations that fall apart the moment you stop carrying them. Too many women grow up believing that strength means staying, enduring, tolerating, and sacrificing until there's nothing left of them. But real strength is knowing when something is damaging your spirit, stealing your peace, or draining your potential, and having the courage to choose yourself anyway. Walking away is not abandonment. It is alignment. It is choosing your sanity over someone else's chaos. It is listening to your own inner voice after years of silencing it. You can give someone loyalty and they repay you with empty promises. You can show up consistently for people who disappear when you meet them. You can love with sincerity and receive confusion in return. You can try to communicate, heal, compromise, and grow, and still be met with resistance. And the more you bend, the more people expect you to break. But your body keeps score. Your heart gets heavy. Your energy gets low. Your mind gets cloudy. These are not signs of failure. They are signals that something is costing you too much. When your peace starts slipping away, your life is speaking to you. When your joy starts dimming, it is telling you that staying is no longer healthy. And when you feel yourself shrinking to make others comfortable, that is your wake-up call. It is time to walk away. You don't need to prove your loyalty to people who treat your love like it's disposable. You don't need to fight for a connection that drains your spirit. You don't need to lose sleep trying to understand behavior that someone else refuses to fix. Not every battle deserves your time. Not every situation deserves your effort. Not every relationship deserves your forgiveness. And not every person deserves access to you. You are allowed to walk away from anything that harms your emotional stability. You are allowed to protect what's left of your energy. You are allowed to choose a healthier version of your life. The world teaches women to hold on even when it hurts, to keep giving even when they're empty, to be patient even when the situation is clearly dead. But there comes a moment when holding on becomes more painful than letting go. There comes a moment when you realize that saving yourself is the most important responsibility you will ever have. Walking away doesn't mean you failed. It means you finally recognize what is beneath your standards. It means you understood that peace is more valuable than temporary comfort. It means you acknowledge that love should never cost you your mental health. The truth is, some people will only appreciate you when you stop showing up. Some environments will only reveal their toxicity once you step out of them. Some situations will only make sense when you view them from a distance. Sometimes the clarity you need only comes after the exit. And when a woman walks away from what was breaking her, she does not lose. She returns to herself. She begins to breathe differently. She begins to see herself differently. She begins to rebuild her confidence from the strength she thought she had lost. Walking away becomes the first act of self-respect, the first sign of healing, and the first step toward a light that aligns with her soul. You don't walk away to hurt anyone. You walk away to protect your spirit. And when you finally choose that path, you discover that the battles you thought you needed to fight were never your battles in the first place. They were simply distractions keeping you from becoming the woman you were always meant to be. The second truth is that walking away is often the beginning of transformation. Most people look at walking away as an ending, a breakup, a separation, a loss. But what they don't understand is that some endings are simply disguised beginnings. When a woman chooses to walk away from what limits her, she is not just leaving a situation, she is returning to her own potential. She is clearing space for the version of herself that pain once buried. She is stepping out of survival mode and into a life where she can grow, evolve, and breathe again. The moment you walk away from something toxic, something heavy, something draining, you create an opening in your life. You make room for clarity. You make room for peace. You make room for opportunities that couldn't reach you when you were surrounded by noise. You begin to feel yourself again. You begin to hear your own thoughts again. You begin to trust your intuition again. Transformation doesn't happen when you are stuck in the same cycles. It happens when you choose to break the pattern. Yes, the process is uncomfortable. Growth always is. Leaving behind people or situations you once loved can feel like tearing off a piece of your identity. You may question whether you made the right decision. You may find yourself replaying memories that make you miss what was familiar, even if it wasn't healthy. But the discomfort you feel after walking away is not a sign that you made a wrong choice. It's a sign that you are healing. You're detoxing from chaos. You're unlearning unhealthy attachments. You're clearing emotional space that hasn't been clear in years. Growth isn't soft. Healing isn't linear. And evolution doesn't happen while you remain in the same environment that broke you. When you walk away, you are forced to meet yourself again. You're no longer defined by what someone else needed from you. You're no longer controlled by what someone else expected. You're no longer trapped in roles that kept you small. You get to rediscover who you are. You get to reconnect with the dreams you silence. You get to rebuild your confidence from the ground up. You get to ask yourself real questions. What do I want? What do I deserve? What am I done tolerating? What am I ready to create for myself now? Transformation happens in the space between who you were and who you are becoming. It is in that space where you learn how strong you truly are, how much peace you crave, and how deeply you can love yourself when you stop abandoning your own needs. You start setting boundaries that you once felt afraid to set. You start choosing relationships that feed your spirit instead of draining it. You start valuing your time differently, investing in your goals differently, and moving with a confidence you didn't even realize you had. Walking away is the start of self-respect. Transformation is a result of that self-respect. There will be moments where loneliness visits you. There will be days where you wonder if going back would be easier. But nothing great grows in comfort zones. Nothing new blooms in old soil. And nothing changes when you stay chained to what hurts you. Your transformation requires distance from the things that dim your light. You can't rise in the same place you were broken. You can't evolve in the same environment that taught you to shrink. You can't discover your purpose while living in emotional survival mode. When a woman chooses transformation, she becomes unstoppable. Her glow changes. Her standards change. Her energy becomes rare and powerful. What once attracted her no longer interests her. What once drained her no longer has access to her. She becomes aware, intentional, and elevated. Walking away opened the door, but her transformation is what keeps her rising. And once she starts rising, she would never again settle for anything that pulls her back down. Walking away didn't end you, it awakened you. It expanded you. It freed you. And the woman you're becoming is the proof. The third truth you must carry with you. This. Walking away doesn't prove anything to them. It proves everything to you. It is not about making a statement to the world. It is not about showing someone what they lost or teaching someone a lesson. It is about finally recognizing your own worth without needing approval, validation, or applause. When a woman walks away from something that is beneath her, she is declaring to herself that she deserves more peace, more respect, more love, more reciprocity, more joy, more wholeness. The world may not understand that decision, but your soul does. Your future does. Your healed self does. Many women stay in situations long after they've outgrown them because they are afraid of being misunderstood. They fear judgment, loneliness, or silence. They fear being labeled ungrateful, dramatic, emotional, or difficult. They fear that walking away means giving up. But walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of self-awareness. It means you finally understand that holding on to something unhealthy doesn't make you loyal. It makes you unavailable to the life you deserve. And when you finally make that choice, when you walk out of the door that has offered you nothing but heartache, the first person who feels the change is you. You begin to realize you were never asking for too much. You were simply asking the wrong people. You begin to see that you were never hard to love. You were loving people who didn't know how to receive you. You begin to notice the weight that lifts off your shoulders, the clarity that returns to your mind, the calm that settles into your heart. You start to feel like yourself again. It is in these moments, these quiet revelations, that walking away becomes more than a decision. It becomes a declaration. You told the world that you matter. You told yourself that you matter. Walking away builds a new kind of confidence, one that can't be shaken because it wasn't given to you by anyone else. It came from your courage. It came from your pain. It came from choosing yourself even when it hurt. That confidence becomes your armor. You start to move differently. You start to speak differently. You start to expect differently. You no longer beg for bare minimum effort. You no longer settle for emotional crumbs. You no longer tolerate disrespect disguised as love. When a woman knows her worth, the world feels it in the way she walks, talks, chooses, and refuses. And once she reaches that level of awareness, she becomes untouchable. Not untouchable because she's cold or guarded, but because she finally understands the value of her energy. She no longer gives it freely to people who mishandled it. She no longer entertains situations that drain her. She no longer invests in places where her spirit is not honored. She becomes selective because she knows what it costs to heal. She knows it took to rebuild. She knows how hard it was to leave, and she refuses to go back to anything that asks her to sacrifice her peace again. Walking away also closes a chapter of needing closure. You realize you don't need explanations from people who never respected your heart. You don't need apologies from those who never understood your pain. You don't need permission to move forward. You give yourself the closure. You give yourself the peace. You give yourself the ending, and then you create a beginning even more beautiful. That is the real power of walking away. It shifts your identity. It restores your dignity. It breaks the cycle. It teaches you that you don't have to lose yourself to love someone else. It shows you that your future matters just as much as your past. And it reveals that everything you were searching for as security was something you were meant to build within yourself all along. When a woman walks away, she doesn't just leave something behind. She steps into her strength. She steps into her healing. She steps into her becoming. And once she chooses that path, nothing that once broke her will ever have the power to reach her again. And so this is where your journey shifts, where your spirit rises, where your strength takes form. Walking away is not the ending of your story. It is the moment you choose a new chapter with intention, clarity, and courage. You are not defined by what you left behind. You are defined by what you're walking toward. A life with peace, a life with purpose, a life where your heart is honored and your worth is recognized. Stand tall in your decision. Trust the path unfolding in front of you. And remember, the woman who learns to walk away becomes the woman who never again settles for anything less than the love, respect, and life she deserves. This is your freedom. This is your power. This is your evolution. The journey continues with you leading it stronger than ever.